Welcome to Longevity Industries' presentation of the Destiny of Manufacturing podcast. I, of course, am Dean Phillips, and I'd like to thank our sponsor, the Precision Metal Forming Association, and the PMA's Educational Foundation for all that they do for our industry. I have a great opportunity today to interview Jeff Fredline, who comes to us from MECO Corporation, where he is a sales engineer over there. Plus, he has always been a tremendous supporter for the Precision Metal Forming Association by continuously doing training for us and all of his hard work. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. And so right off the bat, what is your key takeaway of what you see going on in our industry?
Well, I think in the next 5 years or so, there's going to be some significant changes, particularly if the direction continues to be moving towards the electric vehicles. Because in order to be able to go that direction, they got to take the weight out of the vehicles and increase the battery life. And I see, right now there's a lot of stamp components. I think they're going to have to look at using carbon fiber, more plastic, and other things and able to get the weight out of the vehicle so that the electric vehicle will be able to accomplish what it should. So I think, to put it in a nutshell, I think the next 5 to 10 years are going to be some major changes in the automotive industry.
Right. Wow. That is a major shift. Tell me, let's go back to your background and how you got involved in metal stamping.
Okay. Well, back in the early 70s, I got involved with the press repair and rebuilding industry and worked for a couple of press repair companies and got an education and have been involved with press repair and rebuilding for many years and teaching press maintenance and press troubleshooting, that type of thing. And I now work for MECO Corporation in Greeneville, Tennessee, and they're a contract manufacturer. So I kind of just stepped across the aisle, and instead of working on the machinery and selling the machinery, I'm selling manufacturing services, which has given me a broader perspective than what I had before just on the machinery side.
Right. As far as what we're looking into the future, what are some of the technologies you see changing the way that we do our manufacturing?
Well, I think, of course, the 3D capability and tooling design and that kind of thing is a major, going to be a major contributor to accomplishing that. But I think the materials industry, not just steel alone, but steel, plastic, carbon fiber, fiberglass, all those things are going to play into this. To what level each one, I don't know. But at the end of the day, if the battery vehicles are going to work and they're going to get the mileage out of them, they got to do something to get the weight out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's probably a good direction to go from a standpoint of reducing that weight is either by 3D printing either the metal side or doing it with a combination of that and some type of plastics.
Yeah.
In your experience, what are some of the biggest challenges you see that you're faced with now in manufacturing?
Well, it's on the metal stamping side particularly. It's difficult to make a profit unless you have the machinery capabilities to be able to produce at a run rate that is profitable and to be able to change tooling out quickly and have automatic transfer of parts through the tooling. To do it the old-fashioned way of single parts or hand transfer or anything like that, it's very difficult to make any money doing it.
Yeah, I think that is a challenge that most companies are faced with, is that trying to get by the way that they used to be able to make a profit in our industry just doesn't seem to cut it anymore. They have to have more value added. Are you seeing more of a shift into added capabilities within the dies, doing more in-die work?
I've seen some of that. I mean, for quite some time now, the people have been trying to do in-die resistance welding. They've been trying to drill and tap holes and stake, weld studs or stakeable studs and nuts and that kind of stuff. And I think that technology has been pretty much integrated into the present manufacturing systems. So they're trying to do everything they can to take hours of labor out of the process to be able to make a more profitable product. But again, it's only practical to go so far with that. You can use vision systems and everything else to double check, but it's still, at the end of the day, you can't allow a bad part to go out the door.
Right. At the end of the day, you're absolutely right. I don't know how anybody. I think your reputation is still everything in this industry, and if you produce bad parts, you're not going to last long.
No, you won't. Not to mention the financial repercussions and penalties and that kind of stuff that, particularly if you're a first-tier supplier, you're going to be subject to.
Yep, that's right. And when you look at some of the challenges from a manufacturer on the side of building actual parts for your own equipment, is there something that you see that is going to be fundamentally changing within MECO's landscape of production?
Well, right now they're looking at buying a automated press line and being able to take hours of labor out of the part and produce more parts. Right now they can produce 2,200 units in an 8-hour shift, and with the machinery that they're looking at, they'll be able to double that almost. And that's what they got to do in order to compete because of the situation with China, particularly one of our main product lines being charcoal barbecue grills. And with a price point at, around $50 where we have to stay, we don't have any choice but to become more efficient and effective at what we do so that we can produce the product at a lower price in order to maintain our stability.
Right. On the maintenance side of things, how have you seen that changing within manufacturing now?
Well, the old days of having the unskilled maintenance people are long gone. The maintenance technicians have to almost be at an engineering level so that they can, as you well know, on the control side, so that they can understand and troubleshoot the controls end of things, as well as the mechanical end of things. And I still, have quite a bit of involvement in the machine repair industry, and I see a lot of things that could be corrected with some proper training procedures, and all those things come into play when you're trying to reduce manufacturing costs.
Right. I think, and I'm sure you've seen it for a long time, is that it isn't always the equipment you have. Sometimes it's just utilizing it to the best of its ability.
Yeah, you can make money with older machines. You just have to take costs out everywhere that you can. And sometimes, like with our situation at MECO right now, it makes sense to step up to a new production system to be able to reduce costs.
Sure. Where do you see workforce coming into this? I know you mentioned higher skilled maintenance. What about from the standpoint of the operators and tool and die?
Well, as you know, I do a lot of training in the industry, and I see a major push to work towards obtaining and maintaining the higher skilled labor force. I know some of the large manufacturing facilities that we associate with through PMA. As an example, North American Stamping Group has restarted their apprenticeship program and are serious about it. And of course, that's where I got my education. And I know that's where you got some of your education too, even though I've got a college, a bachelor's degree. A lot of the education that I got came from, at the same time, serving an apprenticeship and becoming a journeyman in the machine repair industry.
Absolutely. I think for a long time, especially in the machine tool business, that was just the way it was. You could have an engineering degree, but at the end of the day, there was no substitute for going out, working on the equipment, understanding the integration from mechanics to hydraulics to electrical, and being able to take all of that and build a better product.
Yeah, I agree with you completely there. And in fact, I'm in Cleveland, Ohio right now. Tomorrow I'm going to be teaching a 8-hour press maintenance and troubleshooting school at PMA headquarters. And they do that once a year and bring people in and try to educate the industry, because it never fails to amaze me that someone will spend $5-6 million installing a press line and then hire temporary labor and give them 3 hours of training to run it. That just doesn't make sense to me.
3 hours. I don't know where you're going. Boy, that's more than I see in most of these places. But
yeah, that's pretty generous.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's true. As far as what you see that companies are struggling with on the workforce side, do you think that technology can help to overcome some of these limitations that we have on our workforce?
I think it can, but I think there also has to be an attitude change across the board from management, supervision, and on the floor employees. And everybody's got to get to the point where they're working together as a team. If they don't, you can't make money.
Right. And in the job shop stamping world, that's critical.
Yeah, the communication is everything. I see it every single day.
Now, you always do a very good job with explaining mechanics of presses in a very simple way. What can we do as a whole in our industry to try and simplify our training to help these far more unskilled people? When I say that, I mean, I think when I got into the business, at least I had worked somewhat and had some mechanical aptitude for things. And now you have less people that have ever done anything with their hands. They've never done woodworking or worked on their cars or anything like that. What do you do to try and overcome that challenge?
Well, I think it's got to start at the K through 12 level. I mean, when you and I were in school, back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, I mean, there were industrial tracks. I actually was very interested in becoming an architect. And so I had opportunities to possibly, I took a 3-hour block of drafting. And at that point, that was on that side of the business, but I later changed to the mechanical side. But, I had planned to go to college all the way through, but I had that opportunity in front of me to go and learn hands-on at the same time, which made as I went through the higher education portion of it, working towards a bachelor's degree with the mechanical experience, I had a lot clearer understanding of what they were talking about and, where to go from there. And I think it's got to start. When I look at, I have a child that, went through school, and it's wonderful. She studied art in Rome, and she's a very skilled artist, but it's really hard to make a living as an artist, and very expensive to get that education. So I just think there's got to be a refocusing of opportunities in industry, because I know a lot of tool and die makers that make over $100,000 a year, and I know lawyers that make 20. So I think there's got to be a refocusing.
Yeah, I agree, and it's and in our industry especially, there's so many more opportunities than there used to be. And I see people just, let's say, squandering some of these because they don't understand the value of their work. And I think in the younger generation now, they want to see the value in what they do and what they're working on and see the bigger picture, and they want to be included in understanding, well, why is this important? Why is it important to make grills? Why is that important to people? And do you think that's a challenge of trying to convey that information?
I'm not sure that our teachers in the school system have any comprehension, and there's a few of them that do, like the ones that we've worked with in Nashville we've invited to, like the program that we had last year with the PME district in Nashville. We took kids to the Tennessee Tech, which is a really well-known engineering school. And they got a taste of what it would be like in engineering school and build things and, do that kind of thing. And I think that's got to be put back in the schools. And if we don't, the schools want to put everybody towards college, and that's great, but not everybody's set up to do that. Nor do they need to go into debt and do everything else that's necessary unless they want to do something that requires that.
Right. Yep. Tell me a little bit about how MECO is doing with their technology embracement. Do you feel like they're heading in the right direction on Factory 4.0? Is that a challenge that you guys are faced with, or are you guys ahead of the curve on a lot of that?
Well, we actually are faced with it fairly often because of what we try to do. We are a contract manufacturing company. Now, we do have some products that we've developed ourselves, i.e. the charcoal barbecue grills, and we used to manufacture metal folding furniture, which we still manufacture, but we do it offshore because of the costing structure. But every day we have people come to us and want us to build this product for them or stamp this part for them. And we have to be very flexible because we have to be able to respond quickly to people's needs and to be able to reverse engineer as well as product development engineering, to be able to take what we have or put together a proposal to get something quick so that we can put together a work cell and build components. We got a request to paint muffler systems for vehicles from a organization, and so we're in the midst of figuring out, all right, what do we have to do to apply high temp paint to this system and be able to accomplish this. So we have to. Our degree of flexibility is way up there because of the business that we're in. It changes with every job that we quote.
And I would imagine that's one of the things that you're seeing more and more of, is that there's a certain process that more manufacturers that are, let's say, geared towards assembly, that they want to outsource and ask you to do for a more complete component. Can you do the painting? Can you do the assembly?
Right.
So that you do all the sub-assembly work, and then all we want to do is put this stuff together.
Yeah, we get that request, and then a few weeks ago, we had somebody come to us with a water filtration system, like a Brita or, the other ones where you simply pour fluid in, and they wanted the entire product manufactured, packaged, and warehoused, and then ship it at their request. So
right.
So we have to be capable of everything, including packaging, the whole deal, warehousing.
Wow, that'll really challenge you.
No, yeah. So we look at the whole thing.
Well, Jeff, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here today. We really appreciate it. Can you tell everybody what's the best way to find you?
Yes. My email address is Fredline, FREDLINE .Jeff, @gmail.com. My phone number is 615-517-4282. And I'm available to help you with any manufacturing problem, or if you have a press problem or a press need. I still am involved in that industry, so I'll be happy to help you in any way I can.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent. That's great. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day for this. Thanks again to the Precision Metal Forming Association and the PMA's Educational Foundation. To listen to other episodes of this podcast, go to longevityindustries.com. Click on podcast or go to your favorite podcast outlet, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, radio, YouTube, all of those. It's available on any of them. And then link to that, like it, subscribe to the show. We appreciate any comments. Send me any emails at dean@longevityindustries.com. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.